everyone. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and tonight we're chatting with Dr. Elizabeth Rainwater as well as Dr. Latonya Rainwater. So if you're ready for this conversation, then stay tuned.
Not hard to figure out that I'm not the type of girl that goes around and fools around. Think I'm so done with that crazy part of my past. So don't get so bold to ask, 'cause I won't go there. So be aware, yeah.
Welcome back to God, Sex, and Love. I am here with Doctors Elizabeth and Latonya Rainwater. Hello, ladies. How are you all?
We're doing great.
Are you all twins?
No. No.
You give me a lot of twin vibes here with the speaking together and looking alike. So welcome to God, Sex, and Love, ladies. I'm glad to have you all here.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. To both of you all. Feel free. Can you all tell me a little bit about yourselves and what you all have going on?
So I'm Dr. Latonya, and this is my sister, Dr. Elizabeth. And we have a shop called the ELR Shop, and it's pretty brand new. And it's basically a digital printing company where we create custom designs of educational things and inspirational things for smaller kids up to maybe like middle school, high school ages right now. And so we kind of built that because we were secondary English secondary teachers for ESL, the country of China. And we noticed that the curriculum had a lot of things that the kids wasn't grasping to understand, to learn how to read and write. And so even though they're in another country, and then we live in America, is that kids can still learn from that, because we found also the parents had trouble reading and understanding as well. So we look at our stuff and we made it such young age because we realized those parents were struggling over the simplest thing, phonics, pronouncing things and reading and writing. And so we look at the stuff that we created, and we said that we want these things. It's not just for kids. It's for your parents that maybe be from different countries that don't understand something, and it's such in a kid's language that they can understand it, instead of it being adult language where it might be a little hard for somebody that's overseas that's never spoken English at all. And so that was our dream and goal.
Yep. And even people in the United States can use it. We've seen people use it at shelters, baby showers, all kinds of different things. And we have things in there for adults as well. So we're working on just adding to the shop. It's really a family-friendly shop that just focus on what we love, which is education and going out here being great role models.
And we're also a little bit of background about Elizabeth and I. We come from a military family. Our dad was in the military, and also a religious family. All clergy, so plus us, and church is a big part of our lives, and we dedicated it into doing missions work, either feeding people, helping them go to school overseas, things like that. And so this shop, the neat thing about this shop is all the proceeds that are earned through that shop and people buying, it goes back into our ministry and missions work that's local, national, and international. We're on a disaster relief team and going to be doing some work with that sometime in July or August. So that's a little bit of a tougher crowd, because you see a lot of devastation, grief, and things like that. Versus our main scene is, evangelizing the kids and building child's ministry in a local church that might be don't even have kids there. So we go help with that. So in feeding people. So you know that's a good chunk of our lives right now.
That is amazing, lady. Congratulations on your endeavors and everything like that. And I just pray much success for your business endeavors as well as the nonprofit endeavors as well. Because we need it all out here. We definitely need all, all of those things that you said. I know that I've had a previous guest that was here that actually did some teaching. I think he actually was in China, and he actually coming back recently and whatnot. And so I know that's very how can I say like that? I'm sure it's other countries as well, but I see that there's a effort for Chinese individuals in particular to learn English and things like that. Would you say that? Because I feel like I've seen so many different programs and maybe even jobs for Americans to teach English and whatnot. And I know English has become a kind of like a world language, but I see a great interest when it comes to China. Am I correct then? In
Yes,
that?
yes, most definitely. Because when we were teaching the kids, we were in the position of seeing a lot of kids that were very in a situation where they were very poor, and you could see that some of them were
Sleeping
sleeping
in
in tents, or there's a big hole in the roof of their house. And then you'd have the other side where the family looked extremely rich. So there was different sides that you were seeing to be where people lived. And some of the parents would say that it's very important that my kids learn. I don't want them to be in the same circumstance that I'm in. They said, I'm working very hard, but it's not seeming to work. And they said, if my kid gets the proper education, then they're going to be able to go to college, get a better job. And so they said, can you please teach them beyond what they're learning here? And so for us, it was kind of like going over what the curriculum was offering to them. And that was something that was kind of against the rules. But me and my sister, we broke it anyway, because we're like, wait a minute, they don't know where to put the punctuation. They don't know how to spell, some of the kids and stuff. And they didn't know what certain things meant. And so me and my sister were like, okay, let's take out the time to explain to you what this means, how to write the sentences, and just explain what they're looking at. And that's something that a lot of teachers did not do. And because they didn't understand the culture, in which we were learning about the culture by sitting there talking to the parents and talking to the student. If you take time out to talk to whoever you're teaching, then you're going to learn about them, and it's going to be more easy to connect with them. So when we did that, it allowed us to go beyond where they were at educational level wise, and to also connect with them where they could understand us and start telling us what their dreams and aspirations are.
Yeah, because with these kids, you have they the country of China. It's not like America, where we have a few activities. Our kids, we've seen over thousands of kids, and you know these kids was in so many activities. It was not even funny. It almost seemed like abuse for a minute of how bad it was. You know, they would go to they would go to English class with us, and then they might go somewhere else. Then they might play an instrument, then they might play sports. It's like the kids couldn't sit down for a minute and kind of breathe. And so, and some of that, sometimes we saw the kids break down in our classrooms because I have so much on my plate, is what they were saying.
But you know what? The funny thing about it is that while all of us were seeing it as abuse, me and my sister came to find out that, and talking to the parents, that this was a requirement in their country.
Yes.
They had to be a part of different activities, and they had to have different kinds of skills. And so where we were looking at it like, wow, they're falling asleep in class and they're so tired, or they don't want to come and stuff. We will learn that they had to. This was a requirement. If they did not do that, and if they did not obey the laws and everything that was outlined down there, they were going to get in trouble.
Yes.
I definitely have heard some things about China in regards to. Now I didn't know about that part, but I did hear about, like, that the government has a lot of control over like what they do and things like that. Even down to how many kids they have, if I'm, not mistaken in that, what I've heard about that. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that you ladies say that. And I mean, I guess I am wondering as well, how did you all's faith go into that? Um, because what I'm hearing about faith, right, and in China in particular, is that when it comes to Christianity, it's not necessarily something that's smiled upon there. So people that are practicing are doing so in secret, or they're doing so in hiding, or and things of that nature. I know people might have in this Christian community may have seen like the videos of like the Asian people that are getting Bibles for the first time, and and all of that. And so I know that you all were there. Most of the interaction, most likely, I'm sure, was strictly professional and educational wise and everything like that. But as you were getting to know people, was that ever a question or something that you all communicated about? If you can't talk about it, I understand. But if you are able to, how was that? Like, did you all do any witnessing or ministry or any of that in
Well,
those interactions?
well, with this program that we were a part of in Florida, they had already laid out to us in working there that you cannot talk about religion, you cannot say nothing about Jesus, don't say God, don't say nothing like that. And so I look across the screen, I'm like, oh my God, this kid just sneezed. I want to say bless you, but I'm like, I better not do it. Yeah. So I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna say bless you, and on the inside, because they're gonna hop up there and stuff. But then one day I look up there and the kid's like, oh my God, Jesus. And I'm like, wait a minute here. If that kid's gonna say God or Jesus or anything, then obviously this family, they know about Christianity, or they know some piece of something.
I mean, the situation that Elizabeth and I were in was a difficult one, because this is we're looking at them online and teaching them for certain classes, and so when our faith, we just had to bring it with us, but not kind of like share it like that. Like, if you're gonna pray before that camera come on. Yeah. But we are literally being recorded. We are literally not only being recorded, but being viewed by China itself. So,
wow.
And the United States. So anything you said or done, you can be like, okay, I had a technical problem. I see that. They literally see it because they're in the classroom too with you. Yep. You just can't see them.
Yep. And if you step out of line, they pop on the screen.
Yeah.
And you see somebody from China pop on the screen. You're like, I didn't even know that they were sitting there or anything. But they were watching. So, and they will call you on the phone after classes. If they did not like something, you'd either get a call from China or you get a call from the United States Center. And they would say, well, I didn't like how you did this, or I felt like you could have did this here with the student. And we're like, wait a minute, but you created this curriculum and I went beyond it to teach it, but it just sometimes was not good enough, or China didn't like what you did, or America Center didn't like what you did.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, that's definitely good to know for, fellow believers that are looking into, different opportunities and thinking like, well, maybe I can do this or something like that. Because, I mean, there is a lot of censorship and whatnot just going on in general. But then that's on a whole nother level, which, again, like you just described there, you wouldn't even know until like somebody pops up on you and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm sure that had to be tough and whatnot. But wow, as well, the more you know, the more you know. So that interaction, those teaching with them and whatnot, is what inspired you all to start your business and everything like that. So I mean, I'm sure it's beyond just those individuals that you're working with, but do. And again, if it's too much, you can say, "Hey, miracles," we can't talk talk about that. But I was gonna say, like, dude, I know you kind of created it for them, but have some of your students been able to kind of take advantage of some of the materials that you all are creating and
so
with your study?
So what ended up happening is the center closed down that program in March of this year. So we lost our jobs because China, and they had a policy, and so they didn't want people teaching online. They want you physically in their country to do the teaching now, and that was the rule. And I think the center was trying to get around that and maybe find another country or another area that wasn't following that policy, but that policy was so strict that all those countries that they had connected with over those years, they completely had to follow it. You know, even the parents come up on the screen and say that I have to follow this. There's no way around it. It's just how it is. As far as them connecting with you outside of it, it's a no-no because of that policy. And so what we did was we just create this for everybody, because we still have all of these people out here that's dealing with learning how to spell. So this is not just for the country of China, it's for everybody. You know, some of our missions work in Clarkston, Georgia.
Clarkston, Alabama. Oh no,
Clarkston, Georgia. And with there, it's over 70 nations in that Pacific area. And so you're seeing people from Zimbabwe, you're seeing people from Afghanistan. You got so many people in that community coming from these different nations. And so like I said, even in dealing with them with ministry and evangelizing, you can tell that you know you had to speak a certain way and kind of create a example or a situation where they can understand what you're saying.
And it was the adults and the kids,
because they didn't know.
And sometimes you would see over there in Clarkston, Georgia, that maybe the kid understood what you were saying and they had to explain it to their parent. And so, like with spelling, someone said, I can't write. And I can't write. I don't understand what it says here. And so the kid would tell them what it says, in order for them to come out and be a part of the Street Reach program, which was where you go and knock on doors and see if the parents will let the kids come out to hear a sermon about Jesus and to come out there and eat and fellowship with one another. So you had to really explain to them what was going on, why they were hearing gospel music and stuff out there, and see if they want to come. Now, the thing about it is that with some of the like with Street Reach, the importance of it was to get the kids to come out to hear the gospel. But we also found that, you know what, if with the parents being so willing and loving to let their kids come out there, you know, that's not something that you see a lot of Americans with this. Hey, you can go on out there and go to hear about the gospel. But these parents, they're like, oh yeah, they can go, we can learn. And so we were like, well, you can come out too. You can come with your child, because we want you to know what your child is learning. And they were like, I can come too. And so we're like, yeah, come on out with your kid. And I think that's very important, that a parent sees what their kid is learning, what their kid is doing, and it's going to help them as well. Because my sister and I were also talking to a young lady that we met in Pakistan through Instagram. And we had ended up doing, talking to her through the internet and meeting a bunch of kids that she had us teach Bible study to. And what we found is that in talking to them and having a conversation with her and her parents, is that they were learning English from us. And they were like, you know what, when I go to the doctor, I couldn't even explain to him what was going on with me. But now in speaking with you and talking to you for such a long time, my accent has got more clear to them, and I can explain what's going on with me. And they were just so happy, because they're like, I ain't never had that opportunity before.
Wow. That is amazing. That sounds like a lot of good, amazing work that you ladies are doing. And, you know, like they say, things truly happen for a reason. Like on one hand, you guys were, you know, in your jobs, you probably was happy with your jobs and everything like that. But, you know, God shook that thing up to now y'all are out here, you know, doing it. I mean, well, I would say doing it for yourselves, but and whatever it is, you know, even if it's beyond what you all were originally doing. So, you know, again, to God be the glory for you all stepping out on faith and doing that, and And honestly, it seems as if you guys are making a huge impact internationally, you know, and so that's amazing because yeah, you know, yeah, I guess we can get so spoiled, right? We can sit here and think like, oh, well, everybody knows English or everybody knows this and that and the other, and when that's not the case. And so you guys are kind of like bridging that gap, because there are a lot of different people from a lot of different places that are here, and you know there is a communication barrier, you know, until we learn. Until we learn to do better. And so you all said Clarkson as well. I want to say that's not too far from where I am. So that's I want to say I used to work in that area, if I'm not mistaken. Not mistaken because I was going here and there and everywhere though. So yeah, but I that sounds very familiar. I think that was the area that I was working in. But that hey, look how things come full circle. So I mean, okay, so it sounds like you guys are doing so many amazing things. I mean, you have the business, you have the nonprofit organization. I love that you all are using the ministry as well to just do both, right? To do both. So the materials that you all are creating, um, I mean, I'm sure. So I know you was mentioning an inspirational component. So tell me about that part of you all's business and the materials.
So we have wall art from quotes that we love that inspire and uplift people. We also have scripture cards, and not just any kind of scripture cards. We literally went through the Bible and picked certain ones that and made it like a collection, whether kind of like a collection on love, kind of like the collection on worship and praise, and repentance, baptism. So we made collections of those for people to really take a look at the scripture and see what it says and kind of work it in their daily lives. You know, because we still want that word going. It's not full. The company isn't fully a religious organization, but we have religious components to it for those who need the word. And because this is the proceeds go to ministry. So we still wanted to make sure God is in the midst of everything that we do. We also have affirmation cards, and that seems to be the most popular thing ever because people want to be inspired, read about things that are positive. We have it on, I think we just recently came out with the boys and men's series of affirmation cards. That they can read and be encouraged about. And then originally, I think we started with the mothers, affirmation, and African-American women. We haven't gotten to the girls per se by themselves just yet, but we're gonna get to some more affirmation cards and doing that. But when we look at the affirmation cards, we really wanted something that, you know, we wear so many hats, and one of them was therapy, and so we was therapists, and so we looked at all these people and we dealt with a lot of things and diagnosis with people and everything like that in the therapy world, and so much depression, so much issues when you look at ministry, so much grief and so many reasons to be down. And so we wanted these affirmation cards or anything that we have in the shop, but specifically these affirmation cards to speak to the individual. And you know, I looked at it as what would I want somebody to say to me, or what do I want to read that I can read back to myself every day, you know, that inspires and uplifts me, you know, because, you know, you get to reading something good, you know, you feel good. And so that's what we wanted with these affirmation cards for people. And it seems to be a big hit. People like those cards. They're favoriting it. They talking about it, you know, and it seems to be the topic when people talk to us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's the favorite or the best seller right now. So y'all, everybody need to go grab some of these cards before they go. Yes. Well, I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you ladies again have stepped out on faith and done this. And it sounds like you have created a lot of great products and materials for people to work with. As well as, I mean, again, I mean, I'm sure they could use these different things for their educational purposes as well. I mean, because if they can, but it's just something, just a little bit extra when you can actually, build your faith and do that too. So again, I commend you both for what you all have done and everything. So when you guys, I'm sure you guys are working on many, many more products, and you might want to keep some of them secret. But if you could tell us like a little sneak peek into the future, like what's going on with you ladies, and you know, kind of products we should be looking out for, and things like that.
Well, both me and my sister, we're looking at all the things that's going on with school and how kids get in a lot of trouble. And
Oh,
we know what we see when we were growing up, stuff at school and all the trials and everything that kids go through, and we know what we went through and stuff. And so,
mhm,
like, we really want kids to focus on their education. We want them to focus on their education and focus on having a relationship with Jesus.
yeah.
And so that's why we have all those different lines. But me and my sister had actually started out by writing children's stories. And those are something that are not in the store right now. But that's what we're working on getting out, and that should be out real soon. And those children's stories, they focus on different life lessons.
Mm,
It could be about for kids, it could be about learning how to do something that teaches them a certain skill, or maybe they messed up, did something that they shouldn't have done, and it shows them why they should not have made that type of mistake and how to be positive.
mhm,
So we
mm,
definitely wanted to tailor things to life lessons in what we put out next, because we actually started a coloring book line that's going to start focusing on different subjects. Like we have our peer pressure and drug coloring book for kids to stay away from alcohol and drugs in the store. And then we're going to continue on talking about different subjects that they can learn about and color. And so we're going to have some more of that, and we're going to have some breeders out there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that sounds like, hey, that sounds very good. I'm into publishing and all that too. So by all means, man, anything to keep the kids, pure minded, and everything like that. I'm sure we can go on and on about what's going on in these schools. So that's lit for, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. But I do want to know, before you ladies go, I want to know, like, in regards to you all, because it seems like you all have a lot of things that you are working on together, and I think that's amazing. That's a wonderful thing. And so, tell me a little bit about that, because I know you all are siblings, and I'm sure you probably, there's ups and downs of being a sibling and all that. But how can you all, or how have you all over the years been able to maybe put down some of the, sibling rivalry or whatever could be going on throughout life, right? And then come together on so many different projects the way you all have. Like, is there any little things you could tell us about that?
So, so me and my sister were 3 years apart. Next week will be my 38th birthday, and so my she's 35,
Yeah,
35,
35.
yeah, 35 years old, and so we come from a family, like I said, our parents are clergy and was military. And it was a household that served God still to this day. And when I look at how we grew up, of course, as siblings, you're gonna have a little arguments or disagreements,
And we definitely know
and
how to speak our mind
yeah,
about
we
those
come from a
things.
family where we're blunt,
Mhm.
very blunt, and so we speak our minds, and if we're feeling a certain way, you're gonna know it, and
Mhm.
so but we don't take it too far like that.
Mhm.
We try to, we're understand each other's point of view. Whether you can fully agree or not, it's agree to disagree kind of situation.
Mhm.
Because in growing up, our parents always taught us, you don't let the sun go down on your route.
Mhm.
Whatever that issue is, you work that out before you lay your head on the pillow, kind of
Mhm.
situation. And we tried to stick to that
Mhm.
regardless of whatever circumstances come up in life. And yeah, you do get kind
Yeah.
of arguments
Uh-huh.
and things like that.
And the funny thing about it is that we could have been on separate ends of the house or anything like that, and been thinking about that whole situation and what we did not like, and we could think on that for hours. And then it could be nighttime, and we'll be like, okay, I'm going down that hall now, and I
Yeah,
think
we
I want to talk about this, and want to come. or the other one will come, or we'll meet somewhere in the middle, and we'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't like this, and I had to take a couple of hours to think about this. And then one would start talking and saying that, well, I didn't like this, and this is what I was trying to tell you, and whether or not you understand what I'm saying or I understand what you're saying, I want the best for you. And I just want you to understand that I may not think the way that you think. And I think those things right there is sometimes hard, because we will look and be like, well, we're on such a one accord that it's like, wait a minute, how come you don't see this that I just told you here? And my sister's like, well, I don't see it that way. I see it like this. And I'm like, but you should see it this way here. That's something that even at these ages that we're at now, that we're like, okay, I'm gonna hear your point of view, and you know what? I can respect that now, because used to be where, I'm not taking that, and that's your thoughts. That's your thoughts, and I'm gonna keep mine. But now I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from. And for me, I'm like, if you're gonna tell me that something happened, and that's why I'm telling you this to warn you or whatever, I want those type of people that you better give me a story that goes with that too. I want to know what happened that's connected to this, so that I can have the full understanding. And with my sister would tell me something. She tried to warn me or tell me something, but I wouldn't know this connected to anything. I'm like, well, you got to get more down with this here. And so my sister, when me and my sister were just now getting to that point, we're like, okay, I'm gonna attach this story to it of what happened to me, so that you can understand. And then I'm like, wow, I wish you would have told me this like 10 years ago or something. That would have helped me, because now I'm looking at it, I'm saying, okay, I wouldn't have even thought this way. So I think that as we get older, you're more opening more up, and you're sharing more things that you've experienced and learned, and we're getting that greater understanding.
It just all comes respecting one another. We're too old now. We're in our 30s, so it don't make no sense to be arguing with nobody. Have respect and love for one another, because God he don't like all that. You having love and respect. You can say what you need to say, but respectfully. And you might not always agree, but we're still family, and we all each other have. There's no boy siblings or no other girls. It's just me and her. And so our families grew up in families that was tearing each other apart. And they weren't all that really close as they got older. And so seeing that family just break apart kind of devastated them, and they didn't want that for their children. So they made sure, like I said, is that if there was any argument, that was going to be squashed. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't never carry something that deep where your family, where you can't talk to one another. And me and my sister, we do a lot together. We all each other have. So we do a lot together. We do be called twins a lot. We sometimes accidentally dress alike. And sometimes she's other sentences. We work so much together, building, writing children's stories and all this stuff before the shop even opened. So we do a lot together. And so that also built bonds as well. And we would sync at the same time together with different autoimmune disease and then epilepsy. And so when you see something, I said to another person that spoke with us, is that God once told my sister, are you your sister's keeper? And so when you look at those things, and when you're tested in that kind of manner, it shows whether you love each other or not. When you see each other at their worst, and you're sick, and you don't know whether you're going to come out of these things. And so it definitely grew us, strengthen us together as a bond, and taking care of one another. It wasn't the easiest task, but we took care of one another, and do anything for each other now to this day. So,
man, that is a beautiful thing to see, and I can just see that between y'all. Even, and I didn't realize, or I didn't know that you all were only just you two, but I can see that bond with y'all, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And so again, to God be glory for y'all doing that and being able to communicate well and obviously effectively enough to be able to create together and do business together and do ministry together and everything else that you ladies are doing. So I know I can sit here and probably talk to y'all, just keep on get all the tea, like what's going on about X, Y, and Z. But well, one shout out to y'all's parents and everything like that. I'm sure they're very proud of you all and everything that you all have accomplished and everything. And I would like you to share, where can we find the information about, your store and your endeavors and more information about you all and anything else you would like to share.
So our shop is on Etsy. So all anybody has to do is type in ELR shop and it's one word. So you type in that and our shop pops up and you should see our faces up there on the banner. And it'll let you know up there on the banner and as you scroll down what other social media platforms we're on. So we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest,
LinkedIn.
and LinkedIn. So we on those platforms we talk about different subjects and we share Bible verses and different subjects that we've always wanted to talk about. We put those on the social media. We also talk about our upbringing and we shared about a mission trip that we went on to out in Alabama recently. And so people can see the video footage of that and the pictures and stuff. And so what we want people to know is that when you buy something out of the store and you help towards this ministry here, that we're going to put it up there on these different social media. So you're going to always know what we're doing. You're going to always know where we go and what we do, because we're the type of people that, we don't want people to just, just give and not see where it's going. That's always been something that's hard for me. Like, okay, I want to see what's happening out here with this. And so that's why me and my sister said that, what, in creating this store here, they're going to be able to get something that they can use and that they'll love and they can pass it on to somewhere else, to somebody else, organizations or anything. You can use these products to uplift somebody else. And at the same time, you'll be able to go to our social medias and see actually where those profits went, whether it was getting, helping someone with their education in a different country or buying instruments for them to do praise and worship. So if they look at some of the videos, they'll see how we bought instruments for the kids in Pakistan to do praise and worship. And so what we're just all about giving back and making a big difference out here. And so that's what we wanted people to see and to know.
Yeah. So if you go to the shop, definitely favorite it. If you like it, favorite the products that you like. And if you make a purchase, definitely write us and tell us how you like that product, and even take a picture of it so we can see what you do with it. Because people do some awesome things with some of the products that I didn't even know exist. I mean, somebody had did a puzzle with the wall art. And so they do some really unique things with it, and we get people writing us and telling us about their stories and things like that. And we definitely want to see you subscribe to these different platforms and check us out and see what we're doing, see what we're talking about.
And join the conversation, because me and my sister, we definitely love to talk. And so we get a lot of emails and stuff. And we're like, okay, we're glad to be responding to all these emails. And we also would like to have that conversation, dialogue and stuff on the YouTube and on the TikTok and stuff where we can write back and forth. We love doing that, because you never know whose heart you can touch out here. And you never know what conversation that you have with another person that somebody else can see and they'll touch them as well.
Yeah. I mean, the items in the store, the digital print. So what that means is you're printing these things, but you can take it to somewhere like Kinko's, FedEx, and get it binded for your own purposes, or you can just print it out as is, but it's yours. You can keep printing it for as long as you want. And so that's the beautiful thing about it, because if you got a physical copy, which we're going to get into that a little later on, and making it where people can actually purchase like the actual book of it. But the thing about the digital printing is that you get to use it multiple times. And so that seems to be the popular thing these days. Nobody really wants to go and get a physical copy of something. You know, either the book is tore or destroyed in some kind of way, and versus a computer, you can just hit that button, print that like 1,000 times. You know, I think it's more convenient for people for some reason to get these things digital. It seems to be a new thing.
And the great thing is like with scripture cards, is that depending on how you save it and stuff, I know that we had made it once upon a time where it was like JPEGs and stuff, but if you go on your computer, depending on how you save it, you can save things individually, and you may be able to upload it on your social medias to share, you know, the different scriptures and stuff on there. So I would encourage people to test that out as well. Any way that you can continue spreading the word, the gospel and everything, then I say by all means try it.
Wow. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, now y'all know where to go and for all of the services and everything they are providing for you all. I hope that you get much more support and everything with everything you all are doing. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much for visiting today.
You're welcome. We definitely enjoyed ourselves.
Yes, I enjoy both of you all. You all both welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miracle Sam's, let's go.
Watching God, Sex, and Love, and thank you to Doctors Latonya and Elizabeth Rainwater for visiting us tonight. I hope that you all enjoyed the conversation. Feel free to check out their store and all of their endeavors. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good night.